Coming up on this episode of Outlook TV, Queer Arts Festival launch,
Ace and Aro prom,
Clean, Sober and Proud at VanPrideFest, and much, much more. Hello and welcome to Outlook TV. I'm Rebecca Wyman.
and I'm Sister Fancy Pants. We'd like to thank the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh nations for the privilege to film this episode on their unceded traditional lands.
We are a show that brings you the stories that matter the most from coast to coast, and we're going to kick it off in White Rock.
We have Angus, who was stuck between a rock and a hard place, and he was loving it.
Pride celebrations across Canada are not just in the big cities anymore. So today we're going to White Rock, BC to see what they have planned for Pride 2021.
This year was our second annual White Rock Pride Ride, as we call it, and we had more than 50 entries. We did not ask people to enter officially ahead of time or anything. It was left up to everyone who wanted to participate to decorate their cars. I think next year we would like to see some of the cars follow the lead, I should say, from a few of our entries this year were absolutely phenomenally decorated. But we would like to see people go a little more over the rainbow for next year. But some of our cars this year, I would say 10 to 20% of the cars were decorated absolutely beautifully. You could call them a float, actually, for a parade. So there was many rainbows, and we had given out rainbow flags to all the restaurants ahead of time. So people were waving flags up and down for the Pride Ride route, and there was groups gathered in lots of different areas because we had publicized the route ahead of time. One church group actually got approximately 40 of their membership to come out and sit together and wave flags and applaud us as we were going by. We formed the White Rock Pride Society, and the first thing we did was approach City Hall and said, pretty much it's the norm now in every city to have a rainbow crosswalk. We would love to have a rainbow crosswalk in White Rock. We decided that in White Rock we had a really good working relationship with the RCMP, and they actually had flown the Pride flag without our knowledge even for a few weeks during July. And as part of the flag raising ceremony at City Hall, we would then all come to the RCMP station and we would place a Pride flag there as well. There's a group called Out on Patrol who also approached us and asked whether they could come and be part of that celebration. And so we hope that we can start a trend across the country where the police and any law enforcement can be part of Pride Society organizations again. We are planning for our future, of course. 2 years ago, we had a fundraising event called Love is Love. We'll be planning to have that event next year. And we are starting to have monthly social minglers for the community, and we go to different restaurants for that. And we are looking at an actual White Rock Pride Week next year, and we do that a week before Vancouver. We like to think of us as we have the Pride Week that is foreplay to Vancouver's Pride.
For Outlook TV, this is Angus Pratt in Vancouver.
Continuing on with our Pride theme, we're going to hit Ace and Aro.
And Ace is for asexual, and Aro is for aromantic.
That's a change.
Hello once again, viewers. Outlook TV is here today at Jonathan Rogers Park, where we are here to partake in the prom we've always wanted. Aces and Arrows presents Prom in the Park.
We have an extremely exciting event going on. It's Ace and Aro Prom in the Park. So the Vancouver Pride Society has helped me organize this, and they have been absolutely amazing angels. But every year, the asexual and aromantic community, we throw a prom for ourselves. This started way back when one of our members in the community didn't feel as welcomed at her high school prom. So she didn't go and was kind of sad that she didn't get a prom. So we as a community decided, well, screw that. Proms are amazing and excellent, and so we threw one for her. And every year since, we've been throwing a prom for the asexual and aromantic community here.
Asexuality blooms in many flowers, many hours spent in self-direction, self-detection, self-deflection.
So ace is a short slang word for asexual, which is someone who experiences no or insignificant sexual attraction to anyone, or no or insignificant desire for sex. An aromantic person, that comes from a split attraction model. So we've realized that some asexuals still feel an attraction and a desire to date, but it never leads towards a sexuality or a desire for sex. So often we term that a romantic attraction. You can have any combination, and so, logically, you can have aromantic, folks who experience no romantic attraction at all, as well, or either. Having said that, obviously humans are a spectrum. So in this community, we really try to recognize that there are people who don't quite identify as asexual and don't quite fit in with what they feel is sexual either. So we call them gray asexual, or grays for short. This event hits close to my heart. Before I found the label of asexual, thought I was broken. So I did go through a medical journey where I was diagnosed with depression. I was given all sorts of different cures to try and get me in the mood, and it never worked. So I struggled a lot with feelings like maybe I just wasn't capable of love. Maybe I'm a robot. Maybe I'm gonna die alone. And that was really, really hard for me, as you can imagine. So helping to run these events, getting the community going, getting our word out there for visibility and education, it's all worth it to me if every time I just reach one other person so they don't have to feel broken. That this is okay, you can be asexual and live a very happy life. You can be asexual and still romantic, or vice versa, and still date and have companionship and be happy.
I think we're getting closer.
At this event, you can expect pure awesomeness. That is my hope. So we've worked hard to create a space that is COVID safe, accessible. We have an accessibility tent. We've got as many little things as we can to make everybody comfortable. And I am so excited. We've got 3 performers coming today, all of who identify somewhere within our community.
Tell you one thing, this event made my prom look like Sunday church. I'm Emily Ann Fraser. You're watching Outlook TV Vancouver. Will you go to Pride with me?
We're going to have to take a little break now.
Rebecca, let's go fix our ponytails.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Joanne Sung, and I'm a local comedian, and you're watching Outlook TV.
Welcome back. You're watching Outlook TV.
We're heading to Burnaby Virtual Pride next. We have our Leroy talking to the co-host Joanne Sung.
What's up, Canada? Thank you for joining us for another edition of Outlook TV. My name is Leroy Wen, and tonight I'm here with Joanne Sung, local documentary star, comedian, and also one of the co-hosts of Burnaby Pride Going Virtual.
That salad bag R7ADR239 did not have cilantro, and they needed to retire the robot that messed up.
Really, I like doing stand-up comedy. I work in the tech industry, and I've done stage managing and venue managing. I was hosting Burnaby Pride. I think originally I was going to do a stand-up portion, but then what they really needed was a host, and I think that's kind of where I came in, and I wrote part of the script with Sasha Mark and used a teleprompter for the first time. It was honestly a very arduous process because I've never really written a script for a teleprompter. So Burnaby Pride is quite young, and I think so. It started, I want to say, in 2018. It was kind of a response to the anti-Soji rallies and the protests that had gone on. And so because Burnaby Pride is so young, I think that they're really able to kind of start off in a good way, with a lot of community consultations and understanding kind of the commitments that Pride around the world and around Canada has made to ensure the community is safe, wanting to make sure that everyone is included. The online portion this year was still really fun, and I think last year they had online as well. There was Indigenous welcome and there was a community welcome from the city, which is awesome because, you know, like, we expect government to kind of be on board with this, but not always. And so it was good to see that the city council and the mayor kind of give an address as well.
Burnaby Pride is one of my favorite events, and every year I look forward to seeing the celebration grow.
And there were lots of burlesque performances, singers, dancers, and it was really, really cool to see, and some of these performances blew me away. It's definitely not the same as in person, but I want to say I think that these kind of online formats are really accessible in the ways that it still brings pride to folks who can't go outside. It's important to, I think, even continue this. This is actually a really accessible way for people to still feel included and to kind of have these online events where they're able to participate. Lots of other cities also have their Pride. It's really important to, you know, come out and support or tune in online to support these community prides because they might save someone's life. You know, I think it really helps people feel seen. It's important for Pride now, beyond just the major city celebrations, to bring it out into smaller communities so that people can see that it's not just a big city thing, you know, that it's not just, you know, New York, Toronto, you know, Melbourne, and all these other big cities that celebrate Pride, that it can also just be in your small hometown, that Pride is everywhere and within everyone.
Rollin', feel free to sing along. Rollin', we're all friends. Rollin' on the river.
Rolling on the river. And for Outlook TV, my name is Leroy Wen.
Continuing on with Pride, but doing it clean and sober this time.
Clean and sober all the time.
We're at the Vancouver Pride Society 2021, and we're going to check out Clean, Sober, and Proud and party with them.
Welcome to Clean, Sober, and Proud 2021, COVID friendly. And we're excited to host this event today, which is a bunch of sober queens, recovery allies, putting on a show that's for promotion and awareness of recovery. Recovery from addiction is possible, and we do recover. Laster Recovery Societies, established in 1984, originally founded by a drag queen, so we're really proud of that. And over the years, from a small, tight-knit 20-bed facility has turned into one of North America's premier addiction recovery centers for youth and adults. That's why we created Clean, Sober, and Proud years ago. It's just we thought, you know, everything at Pride has a beer tent. What do us sober folks do? So this idea was just to get together, and that's turned into these community events. It's okay if you drink and do drugs, but if you don't want to or if you can't, your life's not over. Like, Pride is yours. Something many years ago I heard from the sober community is, oh, I don't do Pride because it's too triggering or there's too much alcohol. That narrative's changed with Clean, Sober, and Proud, and I'm really proud of that. One of the things that we have today during Pride weekend is a memorial tree that was created by the Recovery Day BC organization, and we're hosting it today here. It was designed 2 years ago, and there's a few thousand names on it. And there's some of us that have lost dozens of friends, and it's the quiet crisis. And I really hope that people really understand people are dying.
Intoxicated is one of my favorite things to do all year. Before the pandemic, I was about 5-6 nights a week working in bars, and I love doing that, but there's just something special about the sober crowd. They're just so engaged. People are just here for the show. You just can feel the energy, and it's just one of the things that just tops me up in here that I do all year. So I love it.
Why this event is so important to me is it because it lets people know that that there's support and that there's resources, and that Pride is actually for everybody. So I love the fact that this is something that sometimes people think that if they don't drink that they have to stay home. But oh no, there's a thriving community of people that have been able to find their freedom with their sobriety. And we want to make sure that everybody actually feels like they can be part of that.
I honestly think that this is probably one of my favorite events of the Pride season. I myself am 6 years sober, so just the fact that we get a space to celebrate Pride and sobriety all kind of in one, and it's always such a high energy event, it means the world to me. It's very important to remember that, being queer and living in like a queer existence doesn't always necessarily need to be laced up with drugs and alcohol. There's a lot of spaces and there's a lot of opportunity for people, to not just explore sobriety, but kind of explore the alternative to just going out and partying all the time. And it's events like this that kind of really make that a reality, because they're fun. Who doesn't want to be here?
What great entertainment we experienced. This is Gary Wolfader for Outlook TV.
And now we have a story from our new reporter, T.
Yes, I hear he's single and ready to mingle. He was at the QT BIPOC event called Together Again. The LGBT movement was all about creating safe spaces, but when you're a part of a marginalized community within that community, safe spaces are hard to come by. So today, we're with Together Again and the people of Level Up and Vancouver Pride to talk about their event.
So Together Again is really exciting for us because it's one of our first partnered events with the QT BIPOC organizer with Level Up Vancouver. As a young queer person who came out many years ago, I think there wasn't a lot of QT BIPOC specific events during Pride. So it's super exciting to see Vancouver Pride specifically partner with QT BIPOC organizers to uplift their stories.
Level Up is a BIPOC, so Black, Indigenous, and people of color centered queer dance party, like a hip hop and rap dance party mostly. Level Up was happening once a month in the pre-pandemic world, and we haven't been doing them monthly, so this is, I guess, one of our first in-person events back in a really long time. So today we have a super fun, high energy lineup of QT BIPOC DJs and performers. We've got drag and go-go dancers. When we think about intersectionality and we think about everyone having sort of existing within so many myriad of different identities. So we have like queer folks and trans folks, but we can also understand that folks that are Black, Indigenous, and people of color face a different set of barriers and obstacles. So I think that it's super important to have spaces carved out where we highlight and showcase those who exist within more marginalized communities. So creating a queer dance party for folks who exist within those communities.
My Pride is going busy. It's so nice to be back in it, like really in it, like hitting the ground running. There's just so much to do, so much to prep, and I'm really enjoying it so far. My performance for tonight is it going to be explicitly child-friendly? Maybe not. Is there going to be a lot of booty shaking? Yes. Will there be some belly shaking? Absolutely. I love my belly. Body positivity. Yeah, I'm going to flip this wig a lot. And I'm just so happy. It's hot. My face is going to melt off, and I'm going to look hot while it is melting off. Whenever I do a Level Up event, I know that I'm going to be celebrated for every aspect of my identity. I am not on the bill to fill a quota because somebody wants to seem woke and book me. I am here because they love me. They love learning things from me. They love every part of my body. They love seeing me shine, and there's honestly just nothing like it. Woo!
Thank you, Vancouver Pride and Level Up. My name is T for Outlook TV.
We're going to have to take another little break now.
Good timing. It's hot out. Let's go hose ourselves down.
Oh, sounds fun.
Hello, my name is Manuel Axelstrain, and you're watching Outlook TV.
Welcome back. You're watching Outlook TV.
Next up, we're catching up with the Dykes, who were marching again.
They were supposed to sit, but they walked instead.
How many dykes does it take to start a march? Well, just one, and this dyke is sitting in. Outlook TV is here at the Dyke March sit-in.
The Vancouver Dyke March and Festival Society is a grassroots volunteer-driven organization that plans a alternative pride event that's non-commercial, no sponsors, for those who find themselves marginalized within the greater queer community. Our message is, come party with us. We are overtly trans inclusive. We've always had trans organizers on the board as well, and that's part of our message, and everyone's welcome, really. It's not a event where we police who participates. We just want everyone to have a joyful, celebratory time, come out, take space, and be queer. The Dyke March has been happening in Vancouver ever since the Lesbian Conference in 1981 in Vancouver. They just happened to decide to do a march that day. I was in the Davie Village downtown, and that sparked something. And there's controversial record that maybe it was the first ever Dyke March, but I'm not here to defend that. But we've been off and on, for many years. I would say we're probably getting close to 20 years of marches over that history. A little non-consecutive to start, but now we have a board, we're a nonprofit, and we're going strong annually. As 2020 was before it. So we are cobbling together a bunch of different spaces, because it is still important to take space even while keeping space from each other, and to take up space, celebrate, and just be radically queer and celebrate. So I'm really glad Pride has provided this VanPrideFest space that we can participate in, and that we had such an amazing march down Commercial Drive and are still hosting an amazing art event over there in Grandview Park. It's bumping, people are dancing, hanging out. It's great, and that's what you love to see. It's just queer joy.
These ladies knock it out of the park every year, and today they knocked us on our butts. I'm Emily Ann Fraser. You're watching Outlook TV Vancouver.
Up next, Leroy gets artsy.
I heard he got festival-y.
Well, I think it's the Pride and Arts Festival, so I think it was both.
If the Pride Parade is the heart of Vancouver's Pride, then the Queer Arts Festival is definitely the soul. This year, with their theme being Dispersed, It's Not Easy Being Green, we can all get a little bit of soul, either online or finally in person.
I would say we're contemporary, but with also an eye to our history and our past. So I'm always liking to bring in and knowing our history and finding out, because we're always finding out new histories, but also really resolutely contemporary art. It's our first hybrid festival. I waited until we could meet in person. I really wanted, what we found is there's this visceral need for us to meet as bodies in person. But at the same time, what happened last year is we more than doubled our audience. We reached 6 out of 7 continents and over 50 countries, even countries that people had to get around their own censorship laws to join us. And that made me just go, it's really needed. It's really needed in places where they could get killed for just being part of the Queer Arts Festival. And I really thank my crew and team who back me on this, because it's like doing two festivals, so it's even more work. But I felt like it was really important to have both, to have for the people who needed to meet in person and could meet in person here in Vancouver, but to also have that accessibility for people who can't come. Yeah, there's a little bit of both. Some stuff is just in person, some stuff is just online, and then there's some that are both.
When I think about healing, I'm thinking about longitudinal, and I'm thinking a lot about futurity, right? So the future. And so I think about our responsibilities then as elders of community, that we have been denied that opportunity, not only as Indigenous people, but as queer people, the opportunity to have intergenerational relationships. And so I think that through art, through this exhibition, we have a wonderful opportunity to be able to begin to heal that and to be able to bridge and to continue to nurture, whatever new shapes and forms queerness, for lack of a better term, is manifesting into. And I think that we've captured a really great spectrum of what that looks like at this show.
I have my artwork back here, and the piece is called Kana'a Says Ta'a. The title, the translation is Great Grandma Says No. So I think a lot of Indigenous people and I guess queer people sort of don't ascribe to this idea of the white picket fence. And I think about my Kana'a, like she hated the idea of like a house. She was raised on the land, and I think the whole idea of private property would have just seemed bizarre to her.
I hope that the art is meaningful and transformative. That's what I hope that people get out of that. My deepest belief is that art changes people and people change the world, and we need it for our very survival.
And for Outlook TV, my name is Leroy Wan.
That is all the time we have for this Pride episode of Outlook TV, but we will be back before your glitter even has a chance to wash off.
And in the meantime, make sure you check us out on all our social media platforms and our website. And if you want to join in the fun, make sure you volunteer with us.
Because we are a lot of fun. I mean, just check her out.
Glitter.
Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Rebecca Wyman.
And I'm Sister Fancy Pants.
Stay safe, Canada.